speak. Speak. Cut. And then at this point I'll say my speech, but I'm still working on that. Okay. It's going to be bits of the script put together to understand a message.
Yeah.
And I say that.
Nice.
Forgotten to history. And then that's how it ends.
Can I hear a bit of it?
I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, but it's going to be like,
Yeah, what are your thoughts about your text?
So basically, I wanted to focus on the idea that no matter how big, how powerful, how impressive you are in history, time fixes everything, no matter how hurt you get. It also forgets everything. It doesn't matter if you're literally the king of the universe.
Yeah.
Give it 120 years, no one's going to remember who you are because of political views and all of that stuff. Everything's just going to get pushed aside. And so that's what I wanted to focus on, the fact. Because in this statue, obviously, the guy, he used to be, people loved him. He was like one of the richest guys in Bristol. He was like really powerful. He was like, he donated to charities. And that was all cool. And so the town of Bristol wanted to memorize him.
Yeah.
But then 120 years later, the people of Bristol, most of them probably didn't know who he was because they've forgotten him because he's now just a statue 120 years ago. Yeah. But also now they almost stand for opposite. He stands for violence and blood and all of that. So they want to forget him entirely and not have any reminder. So that's what I was inspired from. And so I'm going to take bits of the script. For example, you came down easy in the end. Briefly you flew. Yeah. Hit the ground. History is a sneaky mistress. Yeah. In the pit of chaos with the rest of us. Laying in the harbour. This whole time you were hollow. They're the bits I'm going to pick out. Yeah. And then I'm probably going to write a couple of bits.
I was going to say, you're going to add more of your own text within that. That would be interesting. That would be nice. Yeah. So it becomes more of a conversation with the audience. Yeah. Less poetic. So you're using those lines, but then are you going to carry on in that kind of vein, or are you going to carry on
with I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter. Either way, play with both. Whether it's a bit more of a naturalistic discussion, peppered with more poetic language, or whether you try to keep the style of the poetic language and expand. You could do both or one, maybe just try both.
Okay.
And see. I like how you pick one chair off and sit on it to say the line. That's really interesting. I feel that for you, and looking at the stimulus question, how it's framed, you should have more movement.
Okay.
So I'm saying it from the perspective of the drama college or university. So I feel like you need more, and I feel they would maybe expect you to do more given the question. Okay. I'm not saying that what you've got is not impactful and powerful. I think it is. I think it's really nice. I love how you stand on the chairs in a statue position. I love how you jump down. I think they're really lovely. 3 stages of images and walking in. But I feel like if this was the actual question you were given and you were auditioning, they'd want you to maybe explore it a little bit more than that, okay?
How would you suggest adding some more movement into it?
Well, I felt like when you moved, I quite liked how pedestrian and everyday you were when you spoke, like the idea of you speaking. So when you got to be the statue, I thought you were going to do more as the statue.
Okay.
So you could do more up there.
Okay.
Being the statue, contorting your shapes. You could play around with there's so many ideas you could do. I mean, here's one might explore if I was doing it. Look at maybe his position of the actual statue itself, Colston's stance, and maybe other stances of historic figures like him, which have been pulled down, or generic positions of statues, move through them in quite distorted ways, play around with the noble position and then twist it so it becomes nothing. Okay. Play around with how you can look meek and not statuesque, how you can crumple yourself as you're talking as though the statue's crumbling and getting further down. But I feel like maybe that's where maybe more of the poetic language might need to be interspersed within that as well, so you feel they're happening together. Maybe I think that could work. That'd be interesting. Or physically use the chair as the historically bound nature of what's happened historically to people. So the idea of oppression, you could physicalise in how the chair is physically oppressing you. You do that in the end image, but you could physically trap yourself in it, try to move with it as a burden on your back.
Okay.
It be a burden, it trap your leg. Do you know what I mean? You could do 3 or 4 different images of you trying to move with that as your physical burden.
Okay, I'll have a...
And then my final thought about chairs. I don't know if you need all the chairs. This is only a thought. I'm not saying it's right or wrong at all. Yes. I really love your adventurousness and wanting to use the chairs, and I like how you're encased. Because it's very difficult for you to effectively place the 2 sideways chairs.
Yeah, okay.
So either you figure out a better way, a neater way, because you're cross-legged, aren't you? Mm-hmm. So it's whether maybe you don't land cross-legged is my only solution. So if you could maybe land in a crouch and then physically have your leg doing more of the work so that you can neatly place the chair, sit down, physically neatly place the chair. Because the clumsiness, because you're in that sitting position, doesn't look effective.
Okay.
So I think I would say you don't need those. Personally, I get the image just you behind, and I think it's unnecessary to have the 2. But I'm not saying it doesn't work if you explored that practicality.
Okay.
Okay? Well done. Because it's useful to have lots of outside eyes, isn't it? Do you think the same, or do you think different things, or do you have other ideas?
Well, I don't know. I just think if you're going to have this idea of the ocean, being at the bottom of the ocean, maybe the way that you move could be more like wading through water, particularly at the start. Or
Great idea.
And then you've got this idea of the water, even if you can't use your soundscape. Maybe you move, I don't know. Move thinking about the element of water. What are you doing?
That's a really great idea. I really like that because
the ox has stretched his yoke in vain, the crown has lost his sweat, and the green corn has lost his youth-obtained beard. The vault stands empty in the drowned field. The crows are...
Speech.
The crows are... The crows are flattered with mellow flock, the night is now with him, all carol blessed. These are the fortress of jealousy. Never since you met in the summer spring, you met in the hill and dale, forest and mead, to dance the ringlets, the whistling wind, but in thy rules, thy disturbed are spilt. Therefore the wind heightened us in vain of such as from a sea of courageous fogs, hath ever made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox has stretched his yoke in vain on their continents. The ox has stretched his yoke in vain. The ploughman has lost his sweat. The green corn hath rotted in youth have taken the beard. The bowl stands empty. The crows are own flock. No night is now with him,
Connected.
candle blessed. The moon pale in her anger washes all the air. The seasons change. The frost falls into the lap of the crimson grows.
Disconnected.
The winter wears a crown of summer buds. The winter, the spring, the summer, the autumn change their liberties and the world. These properties of evil comes from our discussion.